What's up, guys? Let's talk about crypto launchpads. Crypto launchpads are the best way to make money with crypto, especially in a bull market, but now even in this bear market, it is really profitable. So I want to compare a couple of launchpads to find out what's the best launchpad to invest in. I'm going to take a look at the entry price for the tiers, but also the team, the community. Are they transparent, innovative? What is the ROI, for example? And to show you a little bit how launchpads perform, I'm doing this launchpad challenge for myself, basically, where I, since the last 2 months, invest in a couple of launches to see how it goes. And overall, launchpads are very profitable. Carbon browser invested $400. So far, I have $1,200 in return. Games for a living, haven't updated this, but my initial investment is back already as well. Chain GPT was a big, that was a big one. I invested through Seedify $2,000, $1,900, and with the first vesting of just 15%, I already 3x'd my complete initial capital. That was really insane. And Shockwaves did very well, just did a 18x give or take. So I have to update the sheet still, but it's very profitable. And especially in a crypto bull market, I'm gonna show you the returns that they have then. But let's not waste any time. Let's start with the first one, which is Seedify. Now, Seedify is my favorite launchpad, and Seedify just released, like I said, Chain GPT, Shockwaves. They did very, very well. But Games for a Living did decent as well, by the way. Good long-term project, if you ask me. So what I'm mainly looking at is like, what's the ROI? Like, what can you earn with these launches, right? That's the most important. That's what you're in for. Now, if we take a look at how Seedify does in a bull market, you see that these are the projects with the highest all-time high ROI, right? So Blocktopia almost 700x, but 200, 170, 100x, 70x. You'll see that it's all in the same period. Right? It's all end of 2021. So when there is a big bull run, I could tell you that there's no big bull run right now, right? But Seedify is already doing great. So the ROI for Seedify is perfect. I can't complain about that. So the returns, perfect. What's very important, of course, also is their refund policy. Now, Seedify, also one of the reasons why I like it so much, they have one of the best refund policies out there, because investing in crypto is always risky, but launchpads are relatively safe as you can just get a refund. But every launchpad does this on their own way. Seedify says this. Seedify will require projects to stay above their IGO price until the second vesting is fully completed, right? So it, like the first vesting, you're fully safe, and the second vesting, you're also fully safe. Now, if they are, the admin just said in the Telegram chat that if they are going to release some projects which have like a 10 months vesting or something like that, they will even adjust the refund policy a little bit to that. So I really appreciate that. There are definitely launchpads that do it way worse than this. And one is definitely in today's list. So we'll talk about that later. But also, they really make it safe for the investors. And a good experience. Like Seedify will require at max 3 weeks between the pre-sale and the listing. Okay, so if you participate in a launch, you do not have to wait any longer than 3 weeks before the token comes out. And also what I like, but there are a lot of things that they have right here. But Seedify will require projects to have completed token security audits, no blacklisting / honeypot functions in their token contracts. So Seedify tries to do as many stuff to make it as safe as possible for their investors, which I will really, which I really like. And there is a lot more information when it comes to that. But the refund policy is on point. The token market cap is very important as well, because you know, you are not in Seedify to make money because this token goes up, although in a bull market it absolutely does, just like everything else. But you also don't want the token to come down. Now, Seedify has a market cap of $66 million. The all-time high was 350. I personally think that's easy achievable in the next bull run as well. but it's not like they are already sitting at 600 or something like that, right? Then there's more downside than upside. So also the price of the token, it's just pretty cheap right now. Tier system also. The tier system is, if you want the highest tier, you have to have 100,000 tokens. So that's $130,000 that you have to invest. But that's the highest tier, okay? If you want to get the lowest tier, you want to have 250 tokens, which is $335. And there's anything in between, of course, as well. Now, yes, Seedify is not the cheapest launchpad, but it's also for a reason. They have the highest ROI, plus they have a very good refund policy. We can take a look at a project as well, we will, at a launchpad, that's very cheap to get in, but there's insane risk involved, right? So, and you know, it's not that like, I mean, if you have the lowest tier, right, you can invest maybe 15, 20, let's say $20 in a project, right? $20. Well, that doesn't feel like a lot. But ChainGPT just pulled off a 40x. If you 40x, you're $20, you have $800, right? If you take that completely out. But still, that's way more than you initially invested in Seedify, and that's already enough to step up your tier. So you do not need a lot of successful launches to get a higher tier already, and then you can also invest more. Now, another thing, the team, the community, on point. They're very transparent with everything. The team is very innovative. They have seed staking points as well. Seed staking points are basically that if you stake Seedify, you also get seed staking points based on the amount that you stake and how long you stake it. And with these points, you get tokens of their incubated projects passively after the vestings for the pre-sales are done. So you get more tokens actually than that you get for just the pre-sale. So that's a really good way to to reward people from the community with even more tokens of these projects. All in all, I have nothing to complain about. Like I said, the only thing, it's, you know, the tiers are relatively expensive, but you get a lot in return. So that's definitely worth it for me. So I cannot put Seedify anywhere else than at the highest tier right here. The next one's Enjinstarter, and that one is really gaining steam lately, and I really like what Enjinstarter is doing when it comes to their ROI. They also released ChainGPT, which did fantastic. They released Games for a Living as well. They released Carbon Browser, which did a 40x. So Enjinstarter lately is really releasing some very good projects. To jump right on that, Enjinstarter is a lot cheaper than Seedify when it comes to the market cap. If you look at the market cap for Enjinstarter, it's like 3.5 times, 4 times as low. So there's a lot of upside with Enjinstarter, but they really have a lot of good projects that they are releasing lately. So when it comes to the releases, nice. In a bear market, it was not so nice because Enjinstarter was like, okay, we just release all kind of stuff, and if it doesn't work out, we'll refund you anyway. And that's not too good for the reputation, of course, but now lately, since the market is picking up again, Enjinstarter is as well. And this shows to me that this is one of the lower cap launchpads that really has a very high chance of succeeding and really being big in the next crypto bull run. I must say that purely UI-wise, that Enjinstarter could look a little better. It's on their website, not completely clear what you have invested in exactly. You have to go to the past launches and just click them one by one to see like, oh, have I invested in that? And I think they can use a better overview. So how it all looks is slightly less interesting, but yeah, if that's the biggest problem, I mean, money is there to be made, and their refund policy is also very important. With Enjinstarter, it's kind of different than with Seedify. Enjinstarter requires any given project to stay above the IDO price until 40% of the total vesting is completed, so that's a lot better. But if the price falls 20% below the IDO price and stays there for a week, then they do a refund. So I like it that they, like Seedify says, okay, the first 2 vestings, and if it goes below IDO, refund right away, right? Enjinstarter says, okay, the first 40% you are secured, but after that, yeah, if the price falls like maybe 18% below the IDO, you still don't get your refund. Plus, if it does fall like 90% below IDO, but it stays there for like 5 days or whatever, you know, that's like, it's kind of different. So in some way it's better, in some way it's not better, but this is definitely a good refund policy that Enjinstarter has for sure. Now, the tier system for Enjinstarter works completely different. It really depends on how long you stake your tokens as well. And they have a pool where you can lock your tokens for 999 days. I don't recommend you putting your tokens locked in any project for 3 years, because 3 years is almost a full cycle, and you don't know what crypto project is going to survive a full cycle. So I would recommend you keeping your tokens a little more liquid than that, but you get a higher allocation if you use that pool. So you can stake from 25,000 to 100,000, from 500 to or 100,000 to 500. Or at least 500,000, then you have the highest tier basically, if you have 500,000 tokens. And 500, 1, 2, 3. At the moment, it will cost you $2,500. So $2,500 will give you the highest tier with Enjinstarter, and it's usually a pretty decent allocation. Seedify raises a lot more money, for example, than Enjinstarter does, so your allocation there is bigger. But then again, Enjinstarter is a lot cheaper to get in, right? So you might as well use 2 wallets if you want to invest $5,000, for example, and then you have a higher allocation as well. I don't know how that exactly works when it comes to KYCing, but it's very cheap to get a pretty decent tier with Enjinstarter. So the tier system is good. Team, the community is, I don't know, they are very helpful. When I go into the Telegram, they are always there. There's always an admin right there. They are very helpful. So that's the first thing I would like to say. When it comes to the innovation, it's not an innovative launchpad. So it's not like, for example, Seedify does with the seed staking points or building their own metaverse and all of that. So it's, when it comes to that, it's quite standard launchpad, but it does what a launchpad needs to do, right? So I like it, and I'm getting more and more faith in Enjinstarter as the further we go into this market. I would say I will put Enjinstarter right here. If you asked me a couple of months ago, I would put it probably here, maybe even here. But they're really proving themselves in this market, and I really like what they are doing. I, by the way, had Spores in this list as well, because someone from the community, they requested if I can take this as well in it. But I don't know enough about it yet to make a good video about that. So I'm going to skip that one for now. And if there are any launchpads you want me to review, check out and make such a video about, leave them down below, please, so I can do that. We can learn a lot from these videos, I think. So, but I'm gonna skip this one for now. The next one is Paragen. Why do I have Paragen in that list? Because you probably don't even know it. I invested in Paragen a long time ago. And it was because you got high allocations right there. But Paragen is the type of this is going to let's start with the beginning. First of all, Paragen isn't listed here on CryptoRank in the first place, so it's hard to talk about their returns. But I can tell you that the returns are quite horrible for Paragen. So this is Paragen. And I'm gonna give my full honest opinion about this. I have one single reason why I invested in Paragen, and that's because, like I said, the allocations were quite high. Okay, that's the only single reason why I did that. For the rest, anything about this project is terrible. But the benefit is, that it's cheap to get in. So this is an extremely high risk, high reward play, and mainly high risk. If you look at their tier system, the highest tier right now, you need 80,000 Argent tokens, and 80, 1, 2, 3 is at the moment $225. I know I invested like $6,000 back in the day to get where is it? To get this or this tier, I think. And the price crashed extremely hard. And that's not for no reason. Paragen is the example of a crypto project that gives up whenever the market is getting tough. You see a lot of projects like Seedify, like Enjinstarter, but also other kind of projects like Volker Forge, like whatever. They just keep on going in the bear market. Paragen is amateuristic in any single way. And that makes it that the price also crashes, like it's down 99.2%, right? It came from 40 cents. It's now sitting at a fifth of a cent. It's extremely terrible. I don't know if this is actually true, but CoinMarketCap, they say they have a market cap of $7,000 by now. So it's completely dead, no volume. And if this is true, then it means they have 100-time token vesting to go as well. So the tokenomics are extremely horrible as well. So there is no like, yes, it's low cap, but not everything that's low cap is good. You can also be low cap because you're dead. And that's kind of the problem with this project. So the returns, not really there. Token market cap, horrible. What about the refund policy? Well, the refund policy is also extremely horrible because Paragen has a refund policy where they say you get a refund if the price falls below the IDO price within the first 48 hours, right? Just to compare right here, Seedify says you get your money back if it goes below the IDO price in the first 2 months. Paragen says you get your money back if it goes below the IDO price in the first 2 days. So the first vesting, whatever, anything that happens after that, buy money. So it's really horrible how their refund policy is looking. Now, we talked about the tier system. It's extremely cheap to get in. I have the highest tier. It cost me $225, and I just participated in a launch of Shark Race where I could invest $2,200. So I could have invested 10 times more money in one single project than I totally invested in the highest tier of Paragen. So the allocation is very high, and therefore I'm still in the project. Why should I, I can now lose $200 and that's it. But I have no single faith in Paragen. I won't, I won't be surprised if the team if they finally release a good IDO, that they just rock the complete project. They don't know what they're doing as well. If we look at team and community, that's the most concerning thing, basically. Their group is completely dead. Nobody is talking in here, as you can see the date. And this was in the middle of IDO, so it should be very busy in here, but it's definitely not the case. You see, they have 70,000 members. There's nobody talking in here. In the bear market, they were completely quiet. All they basically sometimes said is, wait for things to be announced. And that's it. And if you ask them like, okay, why aren't you launching, whatever, one of the things they said was like, yeah, we are waiting for the market to turn around or this and that. As an investor, you should not wait, but you should do something to get something. But as a project, that's especially the case. Very amateuristic. No releases. The things that they do release, they end up getting refunded. They just released Shark Race. Seedify has declined Shark Race because they said they can't talk about specifics, but they said like, we want to put the safety of the community first, and that was the reason why they canceled it. Paragen not, because they could have finally released something again, and I don't think they care what it is as long as they can do something. But Sharkrace was releasing on Paragen and Pink Sale, like the scam pad of everything. So yeah, it's really terrible. And I mean, even if you look at the website, they made it look like Seedify. Their logo is like, look at the Seedify logo and then look at the Paragen logo. The tier system looks exactly the same if you look at the layout and everything. It's horrible. So high risk, high reward play right here, but I consider my money gone. Paragen is, yeah, I don't know, it should be even lower than this. It's fucked up. Let's go with Solrazr. It's now called RazrFi. This is a launchpad on the Solana chain. And I haven't participated in a lot of their launches, but some. So far, nothing crazy happened. I can already tell you that. Let me check where it is. So RazrFi, rank 54. Their current ROI is 0.45. So the projects that they currently release are down. Right, one is the IDO price, anything above is profit, and everything under it is losses. The all-time high ROI is 4x, so that's not that great. The entry price though is $2, so you can get in with the cheapest tier for $2, so it's basically nothing. So it's very, you know, cheap. But the projects that they do release, Poolz Finance, I just participated in that, was a big failure. Basically everything that they release is not doing that well. Honeyland is still sitting at 1.5x. For the rest, 0.3, 0.3, 0.2, 0.07. Like everything is failing basically. And I don't consider this launchpad to be any good as well. But yeah, they at least try, but I don't know what's going wrong right here, but the ROI is terrible. So the refund policy, the token should maintain at least the IDO price also for 48 hours on each of the vesting, including the one on TGE. So that's a little better. So 48 hours, but that goes for each vesting at least, right? This is applicable till conclusion of 48 hours after 51% of the vesting has been completed. So that's pretty nice. That at least once you have your vesting, you have 2 days, and if it goes below IDO price within that 48 hours, then you get your money back, and that goes for the first half of the complete vesting. So I kind of like that. It's a lot safer, at least, than Paragen. So not bad. The economics on this project look like okay, you know, there's volume at least. They have a $1.3 million market cap and a 2.6 million fully diluted market cap. Half of the tokens are vested. You get some nice rewards if you stake it as well, by the way. So it's very micro cap, so high risk, high reward play. I don't know. It's definitely not one of my favorite, but this is at least like it. If the launchpad somehow is starting to do well, then this could go up very fast. Now they have multiple tiers. So the smallest tier, you have 100 Solrazr that you need to stake, and that's currently $2.60. The highest tier, Mighty Oak, you need 50,000 of these tokens, 50, 1, 2, 3. So that's $1,300. That's definitely not a lot of money to get a highest tier on a launchpad. So when it comes to the tier system, it's really cheap. And even if you like, I mean, $1,300 is a lot of money for a lot of people. And if you have slightly less, you can also go with the one in the last tier. How do you say that in English? One in the last? Well, not number one, but number two tier, basically. You need 12,500 and 12,500 will cost you $334 currently at the moment. So it is a very good tier system, cheap to get in. But yeah, then again, you don't make any profits on the launches so far, so why should you? But maybe if they step their game up. When it comes to innovation, they're at least jumping on the hype. Sui is launching, right? And there are already projects launching on Sui, and RazrFi has already the first project ready to launch. So that's a gaming project from what I see. Ether Games built on Sui, and they are going to launch it. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, that's looking a lot better, although these tokenomics in specific are horrible. 10% at TGE, then you have to wait for 4 months, and then you get your the rest of your tokens for 12 months. So that's pretty terrible though. Although I don't know anything about this project though, but when it comes to keeping the community up to date and everything, they are doing quite well. They at least have an active community in here. The team is quite helpful. When it comes to refunds, they are always keeping their word. So that's definitely not bad. So Solrazr, I would say put it right here, and it's mainly because of I was doubting if it should go here because there are a lot of bullish things in the project, but still a launchpad, you're in the launchpad for the ROI, and the ROI is just basically non-existent so far. So it's yeah, if you have no rewards, then what you're in for, right? So it's going to the C tier, quite low. I don't know if this tier system is meant to be that these are the worst projects and these are the best, or other way around, but for these are the best, these are the worst. Then we have Poolz Finance. Poolz Finance, let's take a look at their returns. Lately, they are releasing some projects that do pretty well. If you take a look at what they are releasing, they also had ChainGPT, which did very well. They also had Carbon Browser, which did very well. For the rest, it's like, okay, right? It's not really that great. It's not really that bad. It's just like, yeah, you could have missed it if you want. This project is already under its IDO price of like 2 weeks ago. This one as well. This one far below it. This one far below it. So they just release a lot of projects, right? As you can see, if you look when, April, March, February. So they already released quite a lot. Problem is they should take quality over quantity because they just seem to release everything they can release, while they should focus more on releasing really good projects. And I feel like they had a lucky shot with Carbon and ChainGPT. For the rest, it's not really that interesting so far. If you look at the all-time high ROI, they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, I can go on for a while. They had some projects that did pretty well, especially in the bull market, right? But if you look at the current ROI as well, they all were projects that were barely sustainable. They all kind of died. So therefore, also, it's like, I don't know. It's 1 out of 10, I will give it like a 5 or 6 or something like that. When it comes to the token price and the market cap, it is a market cap of $15 million, fully diluted 19, so not far from each other. I like that. Although it has almost kind of the same market cap as Enjinstarter has. With the quality that Enjinstarter gives us, I feel like that's a better risk-reward play than Poolz Finance. But it is low cap, and if they will survive until the bull market, I do think that they will do very well, as a lot of projects just blow up, and also the projects on Poolz Finance. But there is one small thing that's holding me back with this project, because why should people buy into this crazy? Well, that's because they want to step their tier up, right? With Poolz Finance, that's a little problem. You can see with Poolz Finance that the entry price, so the lowest tier, is already $859. So you have to invest at least $900 to participate in these launches. You have to have 250 of these tokens, which is extremely expensive. So I really think they should consider restructuring their whole tier system, because $900 to start with is quite low, quite high, and the allocation is not always that high as well. I participated in a couple of launches with them. With some, I got an allocation of around $100, but sometimes I found out that I got an allocation of like $10, right? It's like, they really need projects that raise a lot of money if you want to be worth it. Otherwise, like, why in the hell should you pay so much money for this? Also, you are not guaranteed guaranteed to join with this amount of tokens. Only the top 100 pools holders have a guaranteed allocation, and that really sucks. I don't like that. With Seedify, for example, or these other Launchpads, you just buy an amount of tokens and you know you can invest, and you can step your tier up to invest more. Here you have to be a top 100 holder to have the guaranteed in the first place. So I don't like that. And they make their tier system really complicated with bonuses for every Poolz tokens that they have. And you have to be a top 100 holder. And if you are a top 50 holder, you get into another league and all of that. They rule out everyone outside of the top 100, which are a lot of people. And this is not the way to motivate these people. So I don't really like that. Team, community, good though. I remember not too long ago, it says it right here, there was an exploit. Poolz Finance got hacked and the token went to 0. And a lot of people in other groups saying like, they rugged. And I was like, no, they didn't rug. They relaunched the token sitting at around the same price, and they do it fine. So the team is out there for their community. So I really like that. So they prove to the community that they're trustworthy. Now the refund policy is very unclear to me because they do have a refund policy, which in at least you can always choose within the first 24 hours. You can just click refund yourself. But on the other hand, in their term and conditions, they say the purchase of IDO tokens are not an investment nor a collective investment scheme, and the participants shall not expect any repayment, refund, return, or profit from participating in such a round. So once the participant purchased these IDO tokens, the payment made will be considered non-refundable. Therefore, the participants are advised to carefully consider all risk factors. So in the terms and conditions, they still have that you should not expect a refund. So that's really bad if you ask me. So I don't know. When it comes to Poolz Finance, I will put them right. I will put them here. It's equally divided as well, by the way. So Seedify, absolutely winner of this all. I can sleep well at night knowing that my money is with Seedify. I don't have any trust issues with them. Enjinstarter really getting on the right path and doing great lately. Poolz, it's okay, but I won't invest too much in it. Solrazr, high risk, high reward play. I won't be surprised if the project dies eventually, but if it maintains, then it could do very well. And Paragen is the absolutely amateuristic launchpad of them all, and I would not advise you investing in that. But if you do have $200 which you are able to lose, you can choose to do so. But then again, I would not be surprised that if you invest in a project with Paragen and the project does, for example, 100x, Paragen just takes off with your money. So also don't be too happy once you see a good investment coming in with Paragen. I don't trust these guys. They don't know what they're doing. And that could easily die in this market. Guys, let me know which launchpad would you like me to review. Should I make a new video about this? Leave your comment. I will do some good research on these launchpads, of course, first before I'll start making a video. Therefore, I skipped Spores for now. I don't know nothing about it. But I think launchpads are very profitable. So leave it down below. Please like the video. Help me out here. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Turn on the bell notification. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.